The medical bay of the Celestial Wanderer hummed with alien technology, its bioluminescent panels casting an ethereal glow across the sterile chamber. Katniss lay on the examination table, her arm bleeding from what she considered a minor scrape, a consequence of her latest cargo run through the asteroid field. The wound was superficial, nothing more than a thin line of crimson across her forearm. Standing beside her, the ship's medical officer, Zixthor, stared at the injury with all four of his crystalline eyes widened in what could only be described as horrified fascination. The Valerian's translucent skin pulsed with concerned purple hues, his delicate membrane-like exterior rippling with each breath. "You possess natural armor?" Zixthor's voice emanated from the translation device embedded in his thorax, the tone pitched higher than usual. His appendages trembled as he held a scanning device over Katniss's arm. Katniss blinked, confusion crossing her features. "Armor? No, I'm not wearing any armor. It's just my uniform." The alien's eyes somehow widened further, creating an almost comical expression of disbelief. No, your outer layer, this integument. It withstood direct contact with the jagged metal of the cargo bay door. The impact should have penetrated through to your internal systems. Yet you suffered only this minor breach. Casper, who had been leaning against the far wall of the med bay, pushed off and approached the table with an amused smirk. The human pilot had seen this reaction before. "Doc, are you talking about skin?" "Skin?" Zixthor repeated, his translator struggling with the unfamiliar term. He accessed his database, his body flickering through a spectrum of colors as he processed information. "Your species evolved a permanent, flexible, regenerating armor system as standard biological equipment?" Katniss sat up slightly, wincing as the movement pulled at her wound. "I mean, yeah. Every human has skin. It's not armor, it's just skin. It covers our whole body." The Valerian stepped back, his membrane quivering with what both humans had learned to recognize as existential distress. "Impossible. My people, like most civilized species, possess specialized cellular structures optimized for nutrient absorption and environmental sensing. We require environmental suits for basic protection. You're telling me that humans simply grow a defensive layer?" Casper chuckled, running a hand through his dark hair. "It's not just defensive, Doc. Our skin is pretty amazing. It's waterproof, self-healing, produces its own antimicrobial compounds, regulates our temperature, protects us from radiation." Radiation? Zixthor's color shifted to a deep indigo, a shade the humans had never seen before. "You have built-in radiation shielding?" "Well, to a degree," Katniss added, finally understanding why the alien seemed so disturbed. "UV radiation from our sun, mostly. Melanin production and all that. Though we can still get burned if we're not careful." The medical officer began pacing, his forelegs creating a rhythmic pattern against the floor. This explains so much. The incident on Theros Prime, when the atmospheric processors failed and the temperature dropped to -40 standard units. We lost 3 crew members within minutes, yet you humans simply complained about being cold? Casper nodded. "Yeah, that was rough. Should have brought better jackets." "Jackets!" Zixthor spun to face them, his body now pulsing between purple and indigo. "You added an additional layer of protection to your already impossible armor system? This is madness." Katniss swung her legs off the table, testing her arm's mobility. "Doc, calm down. Skin isn't invincible. I'm literally bleeding right now. It can be cut, burned, frozen. We're not indestructible. But you heal," the Valerian whispered, pointing a trembling appendage at her arm. "Already I can see the wound beginning to seal itself. No synthetic repair, no regeneration chamber, no cellular reconstruction matrix. Your armor, your skin, simply closes the breach autonomously." The alien pulled up a holographic display showing comparative anatomy charts. The Valerians, the Cricks, the Thoraxians, all of us require extensive medical intervention for even minor membrane damage. A puncture like yours would necessitate immediate surgery and weeks of recovery in a sterile environment. Yet humans regularly sustain such injuries and continue functioning. "Pretty much," Casper confirmed. "Back on Earth, kids fall and scrape their knees all the time. Parents just slap a bandage on it and send them back out to play." Zixthor's color drained to a pale, translucent white. "You allow your juveniles to sustain armor damage as part of normal development." "It's not armor damage, it's just—" Katniss paused, seeing the genuine distress in the alien's posture. She softened her tone. "Look, Doc, I get that this is weird for you, but humans evolved on a pretty harsh planet. We needed tough skin to survive. It's one of our evolutionary advantages. The Valerian approached cautiously, extending a delicate appendage toward Katniss's arm.
May I?
She nodded, and Zixthor gently touched the skin around her wound with what appeared to be profound respect, almost reverence. His membrane barely made contact, as if afraid of damaging either himself or her. Remarkable, he breathed. The thickness, the elasticity, the cellular density. And you're telling me this covers your entire body? Even your manipulators? He gestured toward her hands. Fingers, yeah, Casper said, holding up his own hand. Everywhere except our eyes, basically. Even the soles of our feet are covered, and those get thick as hell if you walk barefoot a lot. Your species can traverse harsh terrain without protective equipment? Our ancestors did it for thousands of years, Katniss replied. Shoes are a relatively recent invention, evolutionarily speaking. Zixthor returned to his console, his appendages flying across the holographic interface. I must update the Coalition medical database immediately. This information is crucial for understanding human resilience in combat situations. Do you realize what this means? Both humans exchanged glances. What? They asked in unison. In the Battle of Zirion 6, human ground forces sustained what we considered catastrophic casualties. 43% reported injured. Yet 98% of those injured humans returned to combat within days. We assumed you possessed miraculous medical technology. The alien's eyes fixed on them with newfound understanding, but it was simply that most damage never penetrated your natural armor. What we classified as severe injuries were merely surface-level breaches to you. Casper whistled low. Never thought about it that way. Your species doesn't think about it at all. Zixthor's color shifted to an excited yellow. You take this extraordinary adaptation completely for granted. Do you have any idea how much the Coalition has spent trying to develop synthetic bioarmor that approaches even a fraction of your skin's capabilities? Katniss smiled, finally standing fully and testing her arm. The bleeding had already stopped. I guess we're pretty lucky. Lucky? The Valerian's laugh came out as a series of melodic chimes. Humans aren't lucky. You're terrifying. You're walking around in natural armor that self-repairs, protects against environmental extremes, and requires no maintenance beyond basic hygiene. And you consider it so unremarkable that you didn't think to mention it in your species' first contact protocols. Casper grinned. What can I say, Doc? We humans are full of surprises. Zixthor returned to treating Katniss's wound, applying a thin gel that would accelerate her already impressive healing. I'm updating my reports to Coalition Command. Human crew members should be reclassified from fragile carbon-based life forms requiring standard protection to naturally armored extremophiles with exceptional regenerative capabilities. That's going to look great on our resumes. Katniss laughed as the medical officer continued his work, muttering about impossible biology and evolutionary advantages. Both humans shared an amused look. In a galaxy full of species that had evolved in carefully controlled environments, humanity's rough-and-tumble origins on Earth had given them advantages they'd never fully appreciated. Sometimes, the greatest armor was the one you were born with, even if you just called it skin.